Real work from anywhere jobs, no country restriction, no time zone requirements, no location clauses, make up less than 5% of all remote jobs posted. Which means 95% of what you find when you search remote jobs isn't actually what you're looking for. But here's the thing, those 5% exist. They pay well. And there are actually 3 types of them, each completely different, each with a completely different path in. And one of them most people have never even thought of, and it might be the best one. Okay, let's talk about why most remote job searches fail. You find a job that says remote, you apply, you're excited, and then you read the fine print. Remote, US only, remote must be based in the UK, remote requires CET time zone. That's not work from anywhere, that's just working from home, right? And here's why it happens. When a company hires you as an employee, they have to deal with your country's tax system and social security. Your labor law, your pension, every country has different rules. And navigating all of them is expensive and complicated. So they cannot just allow you to work from the US if the company only has an office and pays taxes in Spain, for example. So they pick one of the countries where they have offices, or maybe they open one, and they offer remote jobs there, which is working from home, but you have to be based in this specific country. How do I find a remote job where my location really doesn't matter? And that question has different answers. Let's have a look into the type 1. Intergovernmental organizations which operate worldwide. This is the one that most people don't talk about, and it's the arguably cleanest way to work from everywhere compared to any other opportunity. International organizations like the United Nations, the World Bank, the IMF, or any other development bank, or also organizations like the European Space Agency or NASA. These are intergovernmental organizations which do not pay taxes or social security in the country. So here it really doesn't matter where you are based, because they can hire you in one of their headquarters in one of their offices as in staff, but they can also hire you as a remote consultant in India when the office is, for example, in the US. And as you do not have to pay taxes with many contracts, it really doesn't matter where you're based. And they also have the opportunity to subcontract an agency in your country and then hire you via the agency. The agency is then paying taxes and social security in your country, but you work for the UN or for any other intergovernmental organization worldwide, and sometimes even in your own time zone, as they need to deliver services for the whole world, right? These remote contract roles are rarely generalist roles. There are more specialized fields like information technology, service design, user experience, communication roles, data analysis, but also sometimes topics related to finance or engineering, and it's project-based. The catch here is you have temporary contracts, not permanent contracts. So you have to invest in your pension, or you have to subscribe to health insurance on your own, except you are going to use a subcontractor in your country. So very often you also have the choice in between working as a freelancer and going via a service provider agency. And then you can also have vacation and pension via this agency. So it's up to you. And the pay is actually quite well. So normally they pay between $300 and $1,000 per day. This is a very high salary. We're talking about between $4,000 and $20,000 per month. So most remote jobs that I find are really low income remote jobs. And here you can get very high salaries and you can work from anywhere. So if you're based in India, you don't necessarily will earn less than if you're based in UK. So especially if you're from low income countries, this is like really worth it. Where to find this kind of jobs? They also are being posted on LinkedIn, but you can also find them on the career sites of the UN Careers directly, UNDP Careers, the World Bank, European Space Agency or NASA, or any of these sub-providers who are posting these positions online. I'm going to link a list of possible companies in my description. The second type is remote first global companies. Most of the times these are technology companies. There's a crucial difference between a company that allows remote work and a company that is remote first. Let me explain you the difference. A remote first company builds itself around distributed teams. The office is the accommodation. That difference changes everything: the culture, the communication, the tools, the hiring, everything. Remote first companies hire globally with no country restriction, and there are a specific curated list. Companies are WordPress, that has 1,500 employees across 81 countries, GitLab, fully distributed across 60 countries with no offices, Deal, the global hiring platform itself, Doist, TestGorilla, and many more. So these companies don't even have offices, or maybe just one headquarter, and everything is built around remote work. And these aren't exceptions. These companies are growing and they're finding ways in order to offer remote contracts without having an actual office presence in the country. Salaries are, for example, for software engineers between $150,000 and $220,000 per year. And on a product management level, maybe it's around $155,000 per year. They also hire a lot of design roles and project management roles, which are in a similar range of salaries. Now there's also a company, I know a friend of mine is working for them, which is called remote.com. So it's funny, so the company itself is called Remote. They're offering payroll for multiple countries worldwide who have employees sitting everywhere in the world and exactly facing this issue. And of course, as they deliver this kind of service to other companies, they also allow their employees to work from anywhere. So what they usually do, they post the same position in multiple countries worldwide. And here you're not having a freelancer contract, you're actually being employed by the company in a specific country. And they have multiple offers available. I'm going to link them also in the description. And then the third path, you know it already, I assume, is freelancing. So this is where you really have an independent contract with a company directly or via a service provider of the company. That's sometimes the easier way in. And here it's important to know these are people who usually have already a good reputation and a big amount of contacts and years of experience. Why? You're not going to take the risk of hiring a freelancer if this person is a junior position. And you also need to acquire your clients. Whereas there are platforms like freelancer.com and remotejobs.com. As you build your client network first, then you become a freelancer or independent consultant, and then you already have a pool of clients that you can approach your services with. Could be in the area of information technology, but also policy report, sustainability, or science. So any field that is growing where they still need experts because they don't have enough and they can also not hire every time a new person, the world changes, right? Then it's easier to start, and then you can add additional jobs via this websites available. So here really the rule is you need to create your own company, right? You will write your own invoices, but you require already some connections or at least some experience that you become interesting for employers to take the risk to hire you as a freelancer or independent consultant. So how do you position yourself for any of these? Okay, you need to have a CV, right, as for everything. So this is very important. And then also your LinkedIn profile should be up to date, and you should try to connect with as many people as possible so that you also see if they're posting jobs or in which direction they are hiring, what kind of expertise is required. And then also communication is very important. You need to have a specific area of expertise, but as you're competing with many people, they're also in the first interviews looking more at your communication skills rather than only looking at your technical expertise. My honest take on that, the international organization probably is a big world with a lot of potential and they pay very high salaries. So that would be my preferred way. But also if you are from a technology background, look at this remote first companies. They offer high security, they offer a lot of jobs, and also the competition is a little bit lower than in the international or intergovernmental field. And then as a third option, freelancing, that has of course the highest risk and requires you to invest more into your network and into your profile and to apply many more times and be very fast with your application compared to the other fields. If you like my content and want to support my channel, please subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and see you next week.